Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I'm Rhejie Cabrera, and I'm here to discuss and present fundamentals of programming, and it is about conditional statements.
Here are the learning outcomes in this video. So firstly is to discuss the program logic formulation, discuss the Java selection condition structure, explain an appropriate programming solution using different condition statement, and create an appropriate programming solution using different condition statements.
Why is it important? In programming, we don't always want our code to run in a straight line. Often, we need our programs to make decisions, like verifying if a login password is correct, checking if a grade passes or fails, or deciding what message to display based on user input. Conditional statements allow our programs to think and respond differently depending on the situation. Without them, our applications would be rigid and unresponsive.
Control structures. Control structures allows us to change the ordering of how statements in our programs are executed. There are two types of control structures. Firstly, is decision control structures. It allows us to select specific sections of code to be executed. Number two is the repetition control structures. It allows us to execute specific sections of code a number of times.
Okay, so in this lesson, yun nga sinasabi ko kanina is about conditional statements. So first, we'll understand decision-making structure in Java, such as if, else, nested ifs statements, and switch statements. Along the way, I'll also show some simple examples and how they work in coding, as well as the potential errors you might encounter. Hello, everyone. So this is what I use. This is what I prefer to use of an IDE, which is Visual Studio Code. And you can use whatever you want, like NetBeans or like Eclipse. All goods. It all works the same. So let's start. And firstly, we're gonna make a file where we put our code in. So firstly, we should name our file conditional like this. Conditional. It can be any names, but I prefer conditional. So I know what the code is about to be. And conditional.java. So in making a Java file or class, we should always have that Java in it. So next is the package is conditional since it's in my file conditionals, and the class is conditional since that's the name of my file. So what is public static void main? This is the method. So in a class there are many methods, and this is the main. This is where we can run our program. Okay, so let's initialize a number, not in number equals 10. Let's say we initialize a variable and a int data type as number and equals to 10. So we're setting the number 10 as the value of the variable number. So in that number, we can check a condition. So if number is greater than 5, then it's gonna print out the statements inside these curly braces. So let's say if the number is greater than 5, it's gonna print out system.out that print the number is greater than 5. And so if we run this code, see, boom, it's printing out the number is greater than 5. Why? Because if, then the condition, if the number is greater than 5, then inside those curly braces, it's gonna print out the number is greater than 5. Since we input the statement of system.out that print inside those curly braces. So what if the number, let's say the number is less than 5, let's say it's 2. Let's run our code. Boom. It does not show anything. Why? Because we initialize the number as 2. And we only checked the condition if the number is greater than 5. So the if statement is only gonna print out if the number is greater than 5. So how do we print out or make another statement if the number is less than 5? We're gonna use the else statement. So else, open and close curly braces, and inside those curly braces, we can print out, let's say, system that out print the number is less than 5. So let's run our code to see the result. The number is less than 5. Why? Because since the number is now 2, it's gonna skip out the if statement since it did not meet the criteria, and else focuses on the else it's gonna print out the number is less than 5. So that's the basic of if and else statements. So basically, if statement checks a condition, then if the condition is met, the curly braces, the statements inside those curly braces are gonna be printed out, or gonna be it can be run. So if not, let's say it did not meet the condition, else it's gonna print out the number is less than 5, since 2 is less than 5. After learning the basics of if and else statements, we're gonna move on to else if statements. So let's make a new file. Is Let's say we can initialize a grade. Say our grade is 65, since that's our passing score in Quezon City University. Then let's check if grade is greater than or equal to 90. And it's gonna print out. Okay, very excellent. Grade is A. Okay, let's run our code again. Look, it does not show anything because we didn't make another condition. So the grade is just 65, and it's not in the condition of grade greater than or equal to 90. So it's not gonna print out you are excellent and the grade A. So that's where else if statements come in handy. So else if, let's say else if the grade is greater than or equal to 80, it's gonna print out this. So system use out system.out.print grade is B. So let's change our grade to 80. And yeah, it's printing out the grade B. And we can do other stuff like can check until how many times you want. So blah blah blah, else if, else if, else if. Okay, now we have after including those, it's gonna check if the grade is greater than 90, and if not, it's gonna check else if grade is greater than or equal to 80. Then else 70, and else 65, then else if 65, then else you fail. So let's say our grade is 50. You have any guess what it's gonna print out? So let's see. It's gonna print out you failed because we did not meet any of these criterias. So yeah, that's the introduction to else if statements. Next, we're gonna move on to a more complex one. Instead, if and else statements. Let's make another file. Let's make another file. Want a separate program. Then public static void main. That's our main method. Let's say let's initialize an age, int age. Say we're only 17 years old, and let's initialize a boolean. Boolean has id equals true. Okay, a boolean is a data type which is checks if a value is true or false. So 1 or 2. Then let's say if our age is greater than or equal to say equal to 18, and let's that's where our nested if comes in. If has id, then since has id is true, our variable has id is true, then if or he or she has id, it's gonna print out this block statement, these blocks of statements inside the curly braces. It's gonna print out you are able to enter the establishment and with semicolon. So let's run our code. It's not showing anything. Why? Because we did not meet the condition of the age. That should be greater than or equal to 18, but our age is just 17. Let's say our age is 19 now. Say we're 2 years to the future, 19. Then else, it's gonna print out you are able to enter the establishment. So now let's check if our age is less than 17. So it's gonna print out self. You are not allowed here. 18 plus only. Okay, that's it. Then let's run our code. Print out you are not allowed here. 18 plus only. So it printed out that. But what if, let's say, our age is 18 years old and we don't have ID? What's gonna happen now? You have any idea? Gonna run the code. Let's run the code. Boom. It does not show anything. Why? Because the age is greater than or equal to 18, but there is no other condition inside the another if statement has ID. If it only checks if it has ID. If there is no ID, then it's not gonna do anything. So let's add another else statement here. And in the block of code, let's add south is in the other print. You need an ID. And so in that no, if say our let's say our age is 18, but we don't have ID, let's run our program. You need an ID to enter because it checks if the person has an ID and else if the person does not have an ID, it's gonna print out this you need an ID to enter. So that's it for the nested if statements. I'm gonna go to the switch final introduction to this conditional statements. Firstly, what is a switch statement muna? So switch statements is like think of it as a menu, okay, menu of choices. Instead of writing a lot of if and else statements, we can use switch. So let's say let's initialize. Let's say day equals 3. Day initialize day is 3. Then let's switch. Let's use some switch and the day. Okay. So switch condition. If you use some switch, you should have a condition. Then in that condition, it's gonna check if case one, say case one, say it's gonna print out system at system at Monday. Break the case to close the condition, close the loop. So after let's say our day is 1 is gonna print out Monday and it's gonna break the condition. So case 2, say it's case 2 Tuesday. And else if case, because if we did not break the loop, it's gonna go through another condition. So it's gonna let's say I did not break this and I did not break the 2. It's gonna go case 1, then also the case 2. So it's gonna go continue and not break. So break means just cutting off the main loop or the main if and else in that switch. So let's say case 3, Wednesday. It's Wednesday today. Break. So let's run our code. Let's run our code. It printed out Wednesday. Why? Because in the switch there's a condition. And the initialization of day is 3. So the variable value is 3. So the variable day is 3. Switch and the variable. So switch the variable day. Kung yung variable niya is let's say case 1, it's gonna print out Monday. So let's try Monday. It's gonna print out 1. It's gonna print out that. But let's say it's gonna print let's say 4. It printed out nothing. Why? Because in the switch condition there is no case in which it checked the 4. Default valid choice. Say since our day is 4, day 4 it's gonna check out if there is no condition met in this, the default will be invalid choice. Let's see. Invalid choice. And that's it. That's the basic conditional statements needed for any any programming language. But in particular, this is Java, and that's it. But firstly, we're gonna check the possible errors you might encounter in programming. So after reviewing those 4 essential conditional statements, we're gonna do the common mistakes that we as beginners make in this kind of thing. Okay, this doesn't work because if statements need a boolean to work. So if, then the conditional should be boolean. It always needs to be boolean. So if it's not a boolean, then it's not gonna work. So let's see, not gonna work since it's not a boolean, it's an integer. But the if statement specifically needs boolean statements. Then next, if number equals 0. Why it does not work? Because it's just setting a variable as 0. So let's say we set number as 0. We set that number as 0. Then if we set another number plus 5, it's like that. It's like setting a variable value to that variable, a new value. And it's not a boolean, so it's not going to work to the if statement. So we should always add another as a relational comparator to compare the number. So if the number is equal to 0, equal 0, equal to 0, because having only one equals just adding the number. So if the number is 0, then it's just If number is zero, if setting the number as zero, then it's not a boolean. We need a boolean. So if the number is equal to zero, so equal to zero is gonna be true since our number is zero. So this is equal to zero. Else, it's gonna print out. Let's say the number is not zero. Let's say 5. Bada boom, bada beam, the number is not zero. And that's the common mistakes like us beginners make. And we should be careful. That's it for the conditional statements. And goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.